Hey, everybody, I am Admiral Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Um, Probably pretty solid advice. The shower is the most dangerous. The bathroom is the most dangerous room in your house. Don't jump in there. Be careful. Uh, so good to see you all. We're going to fire this thing up in a minute, and I'll do a little roll call, but I figure we'll let a couple of people show up first. And then we'll get this thing underway. Don't check your screens. I am. If this looks like a familiar backdrop, it's because I am filming from a friend of mine's basement currently. Jason P, good to see you. I am in Kansas City. The next stop on the tour we're doing around the U.S. But just learned you. Caddy goes, what the hell is going on there? Yes. Well, that is where I am. Probably a weird way to learn that I'm here. A bunch of people are going to get that. Basement boss, inappropriate heifer. Good to see you. What's up? Mile High Hokey. Cooler by the lake. Good to see you. Just stopping in for a minute, are you? Okay. Well, good to see you. Jason P is my man. Miss Sunrise Dawn. Jamie Smith. Hey, Miss Dragon. Miss Dragon, I packed your book. I brought it on the airplane, which is good because I had a rugged travel day, but I'll touch on that in a minute. Cheshire Cat, good to see you. Rexican Messler, what's happening? DJ Daddio, Mr. T, how are you? Lisa, good to see you. Yeah, this is fun. Meredith Lynn, good to see you. There's Kristen Melinda. Looks like she got that little human tucked up away. Christy Kress, what's happening? Meredith Lynn, glad you're here. Lacey Silver, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So we started talking about doing this when Quibble was in Tucson, or was in, more appropriately, I guess she was in Phoenix. Hello, Heather. My sister, Curious George. Good to see you. Elizabeth Smith. So while we were down there and having lunch in Phoenix, someone said you should just go and bring Tommy to your place, your town, and we joked about it, and then it's thought like, oh, it doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Wow, thank you. I'll take that. She says I'm looking younger. Yes, Kristen Melinda. Her little person is not thrilled with me that he is expected to sleep before 10, but I think he'll forgive me someday. Maybe not. Someday he'll be on a channel like this, peeling an onion and saying, the reason it's mom's fault. She put me into bed before 10. No, I think you're all right on this one. I'm just ragging on you. Third Eye Open, good to see you. Seventh, Valerie 102, Catalina. Yeah, the gang is pretty much all here. Will I be cradling Gertie? I'll tell you something that's funny is that her cat, her rather zoftic female cat, loves me. And the cat will jump up in your lap and purrs like a Ferrari, one of the loudest animals I've ever heard. Nikki Never In saying, what? No, it's not. It's really a green screen, but it does look a lot like I'm in her basement, does it not? It's really just a green screen. No, I'm kidding. I'm in Quibble's basement. Yeah, K-Thick, I am in the basement at the Quibble household. Mr. Ray Ray, 3 days with no alcohol? Good God, my brother. Out of the woods for seizures. Can we get, hey, you know what? Ray's been fighting this a really long time, man. How about throwing up some threes? Huh? How about a 3 for congratulations? Because that's not easy. And you know what? Ray's been fighting this a really long time. Proud of you, bud. Denise, good to see you. Nikki, Catalina, Valerie 102. Hey, Casey, good to see you. Monica, how are you? Mark Hardman, there he is. What's happening? Yeah, Ray, that's good stuff, man. That really is. Everybody catch that? Those first 3 days, people, and I'm not disrespecting Ray, but Ray's been pretty open. When your drinking gets to that level, right, where all of a sudden you can't quit cold turkey, you're going to go into seizures. Jamie Smith, good to see you. When you reach that level, then you have to either have some medical assisted treatment to get you off. But that first 72 hours is pretty scary stuff. Hey, Izzy, Karen, how are you? That's a scary time, really a scary time. So I'm really happy to hear that you're through that. Your AC broke. The temperature here is not bad, although We went for a walk earlier, took the dogs out, and no, it's lovely. It really is. It's lovely. Yes, I have the glasses back on. Roberta, I am sporting the glasses again. I know that there are people who will call me on it. No way. There are people who will call me on it. Hold on 1 second.
This is for Mr. Ray Ray.
All right. Check this out. The official participant, the official participation trophy of the Quibble Basement is slightly more impressive than yeah, that's slightly more impressive than the participation trophy that we were sporting around in on the other side of the country. There you go, Ray Ray. You have been bestowed the largest of all participation trophies that I have ever hefted here on the boat. That's pretty good stuff. Well done, Quibble. I love it. But Ray, all joking aside, man, that's great. It really is. You know, this is base camp, man. This is base camp. Now you tighten up. Now you start journaling, right? Now you start working out. I don't care if it's walking for 5 minutes and then the next day go 5 minutes and 10 seconds, but start pushing it out a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. And I promise you, you're going to be happy that you did. Monica M, good to see you. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Reese has big trophies. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. I'm fighting turning my AC on. I think I'll be losing the battle this week, and I hate it. Love having windows open. You know what? I feel that way. And we are in a state in Arizona where you can bust the windows open for a really long period of time. Oh my goodness. Joey girl, good to see you. Are you referring to the green screen behind me? Looks a lot like I'm in Quibble's basement, doesn't it? You know what's amazing though? It's such a good green screen that I actually have cat hair that's making my nose itch because I was petting the green screen cat right before we went live. For real, the cat was having a very good time with me right before we went live, and kind of a demanding pussy cat, in all honesty. When she gets on your lap, she's not taking no for an answer. Real talk, she is not. Yeah, we like him big in the Midwest. Joe, CPP fam, good to see you. Glad you're here. Jody Kelly, how are you? So aside from the painfully obvious, the clutching of pearls, because boy, the people that hated me before, good God, if you don't think they're having a good time now, taking Reese out for enchiladas, taking Reese out. Yes, well, that's very kind of you, and we're going to make sure that she gets some. I have to make sure she gets some enchiladas. You know what? Reese likes to say that the cat takes after her and has short legs and all that. I didn't see it. I was not feeling well yesterday, but it was more throat than anything else. Yes, my green screen is very familiar. Yeah, it was what I was really having was throat problems. Yeah, the haters. You know what though? It's fun to give them something to talk about. You know what I mean? This will be good. This is gonna go on for a really long time. So we're gonna have a good time with this. So far so good. We're having fun. We really are. We're having fun. But you know what? We talked about a couple of places. We're narrowing down exactly where we're going to do the gathering, because we're going to be all getting together here in Kansas City while I'm here. We're going to be using this as one of the stops along the way, and the next stop is already not only picked out, but it's already arranged and paid for. So we're getting it to where they're gonna be clicking. It's gonna be one right after the other. You watch. Yeah, Shards of Words. Good to see you. Hey, there's a Venus Sativa. News, my husband will be kicking Fent this Wednesday. I've had to stay clean with a supply in the house since I quit in November. I'm going to do my best to help him through it. Whoa. I mean, mother loving whoa. Avena Sativa, since November, you have been in a house that had your drug of choice in it, and you've remained sober. Holy. Wow. Wow. That is so damn impressive. It really is. That's my God in heaven. Well, this one's for you, right? This is for you. Great for your husband. That's awesome. And I think it's great that you're going to be helping him. But holy hell, December, January, February, March, April. My God in heaven, man. That is nothing shy of a friggin' miracle. And I'm take this in the vein that I mean it in, but I can't remember being more proud of anybody for something that they've done in sobriety. That's incredible. That is incredible. Yeah, Joey girl, we'll see what happens, right? Don't let's not start giving them too much. Yeah, they're gonna have heart attacks here. They're gonna have heart attacks. Yeah, that is huge, right? I mean, honest to God. By the way, I don't recommend that to anybody. You understand? I don't recommend that to anybody, man. Don't try to hang out in a house that's got your drug of choice in it. Don't. But hats off to Avena Sativa for pulling that off because that is friggin' incredible. Space Diesel, what's happening? Well, we're honored to have you here, man. Glad you're here. You may notice the new backdrop. I've stolen the backdrop from my friend Reese Quibble. This is technically her backdrop. You have a book on Zen meditation. You know something? I'm very open to just about anything that calms the mind and the body. I'm very, very open. I am not one of those individuals who is very, very sort of, I don't know what the word is, set or structured. I think that there's a lot to be taken from a lot, if that makes sense. You know what? Venus Sativa, it's absolutely incredible. And I'm thinking, my mind is going back to things that you've said, and man, oh man, it's just honest to God in heaven. That's so hard for me to wrap my brain around, but it is amazing, and you should be very proud of yourself. Nico Squirrel, what's happening? You like the new backdrop, do you? Yeah, Quibble's pretty fond of it. For real, she was in here earlier telling me how great it looks. But yeah, so yesterday I got. Let's see, I took off at about 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, no, it was a little later than that, I guess. No, that's about what time I headed for the airport. I think I ended up, the plane was delayed, pretty big time delayed. So I ended up taking off closer to 2. And it screwed up all of the connections for the next flight. And when we got off the plane, I'm looking on the big boards, you know, you read the departure signs or the arrival signs or whatever. I'm looking at the departure signs, and on my card, right, it says a different gate than the one that's on the screen. So I walk up to the woman and said, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm at the, you know, that I'm not screwing up because my boarding pass says a different gate." She goes, "Oh no, go with the departure sign." So I get on a train. I take this train for about a 15-minute drive across the airport, and I get to where I am going, right, for my and I knew I was screwed the second I got there. Like I walked up, it was C or A15, and I walked up to A15, and it said flight to Vegas. I'm like, oh no, you got to be kidding! And I had to go and get online. It wasn't just me; the boards were screwed up on every flight. So there was honestly about 500 people online. Like the entire airport was online trying to get this fixed. And there were no more flights going out last night. I was going to have to wait until the morning and then try to catch a flight with the 500 people that had already been screwed over. And I sat in line for about an hour and 5 minutes. And the line moved 2 inches in that time. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. And I got out of line and I started going to all the other airlines. Hey, do you have a flight going to Kansas City this evening? And one of them was like, we got one that's taking off in like 20 minutes. I don't know if you can get over there. I'm like, I can get over there. I promise you I'll get over there. Well, this was at Dallas Fort Worth. Where is my friend from Dallas? Is she still here? Or is she no, she may have had to go back and deal with the little man. Is Kristen Melinda still around? Kristen Melinda can back me up on this. This airport has the longest ride you're ever going to take on a really bad yeah, as bad as it gets for a really long ride on a train. This is the worst. I was on that puppy for probably 25 minutes. Awful, absolutely awful. Only to get over there and find out that I'm all screwed over. Yes, there you are. It is a very, very large airport that way. And the one in Phoenix is bad. It's got a huge train too. When I went and picked up Anna Nicole, I ended up, yeah, DFW is larger than the island of Manhattan. It's true. She's not being funny. The island of Manhattan's 12 miles long. Yeah, that's it. Dallas Fort Worth Airport is massive, and you can't get anywhere without getting on that damn skyway, which is just, you know. Do you hear that? It's raining. The trolleys at DFW stink, says A. Kenneth. And you know what? A. Kenneth is right. A. Kenneth is right. Kenneth Smith says DFW is huge. It is an awful damn airport. Atlanta's bad too. Atlanta is bad. But the thing with Atlanta is, I don't care what you believe in, right? Which God you believe in, or if you don't believe in God, because if you're going to heaven or you're going to hell or any other afterlife, you probably have to go through Atlanta first. It's just how it goes. If not O'Hare, but you're going to go through one of them, guaranteed. Can't go anywhere in this country without going through one or the other. It's better than before the Skyways. I can't imagine, what did they do before the Skyways? You had to walk? That wouldn't have been possible. You need a cab to go from one terminal to the next. If you have to go from A to D, it's miles. Miles. It was awful, man. Yeah, I get, and I spent a lot of time in Dallas Fort Worth. I mean, as a guy that spoke for a living, yeah, I spent a lot of time flying. The worst airline incident I ever had, we landed in Dallas Fort Worth. I've told the story on the boat before, but I'll tell the story again. Actually, no, it's the second worst. It was the second worst, but there was a period in the 90s where they were making Boeing 737s. They were grounding them because the rear stabilizer thing was out. So planes would go this way and they couldn't control their direction. And a 737 that was licensed to Air Ethiopia crashed, killed everybody on board. It's like 280 people. And they were just debating whether or not they had to freeze the entire fleet. And I was getting on a 737 and I looked at my road crew and I was like, this is the plane that they're joking, that they're talking about. And I'm just yucking it up and getting everybody laughing. I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah, we're coming in. And I was sitting in a evacuation seat, one of the aisle seats. And the woman and the steward and the stewardess came up and said, I bet you just thought you were going to get extra leg room. And I was like, why, you want me to move? They said, no, but you're actually going to have to do what they say, right? If you're not comfortable sitting in this row. Well, I said, why? What's going on? They said, we're having problems with this plane. I said, you have got to be woofing me. And then they went through all the instructions. You're going to take the door, pull it out, throw it out of the way. Your job, talking to me, was to make sure that nobody lights a cigarette, because apparently right after a crash, everybody wants to light a cigarette. And the wings are filled with jet fuel. So they, and I'm sitting here listening to this going, you got to be kidding. But we were coming in like this, right? And yeah, I thought for sure that was the end of it. I had my head between my legs, like we were ready for it. And when we finally came down, the plane hit and did a skidding number and, came to a stop. But it was frightening. It was because of everything else that was going on. I mean, they were literally, they were dropping from the sky. So when we found out they were having problems and what they were having problems with, we're like, oh crap, man. They ended up freezing the whole line. They did ground all of the 737s until they did a software fix. So, but I've also I took off once from Dallas Fort Worth and the engine on the plane fell off. Like you could look out the window and see a hole where the engine used to be. I mean, the plane had no problem flying, but it was that was frightening. That was a pretty good one. But the worst, I was taking a puddle jumper I was going from JFK. I was flying from JFK into Jersey. Just a little, right? Short little, a lot of skid marks, I promise you. But this short little flight, and we take off, and I was flying with a guy named Rex. I can tell you that because Rex, I don't think is with us anymore. But I'm sitting next to him on the plane. He was my boss. And it had propellers. It's a twin prop. And we're flying along and everything is groovy and we're listening to music and talking. And all of a sudden, the entire inside of the cabin is white. Like you can't see the person next to you. And, just oh shit. And the noise. And my boss grabbed my arm and grabbed me so damn hard that when we got off of the plane, I had marks from where his hand grabbed my arm. But the oxygen masks fell out from up top, and we had to put these things on. No, you know what it is? Memo, don't fly with Tommy. Listen, no. This has got nothing to do with me. This wasn't my fault, stockbroker. No, what it is I worked as a public speaker, so I flew all the time. Like I flew 3 and 4 times a week, 5 times a week. So the odds were not in my favor. You know what I mean? I just spent so much time on airplanes that the odds were not in my favor. I flew nonstop. You know, yeah, Tommy gets on my plane and Shannon gets off. I don't blame you guys. I haven't had an incident in a long time, but the pilot came on and said, everybody relax. That's not smoke. That's condensation. He said, we're going to take we lost cabin pressure, but we're going to take the aircraft down to like 13,000 feet or something. We're going to fly low enough. And as we started to, all of that condensation took off. I mean, it was gone, but it was frightening because when it got white in there, it looked like smoke. You know, we all thought that something was on fire. But I also flew on Con Air, and there's nothing scarier anywhere than flying Con Air. The people that fly, the pilots are scary as hell. These are all guys that are former military, and they take off in, you know, big 747s and go straight up and straight down. Like they fly like idiots. Oh, it's horrible, man. Really horrible. Yeah, it's about the number of flights. I went on a lot of them. Oh, wow. That would have scared the hell out of me. That's frightening. Jordy says, if a pilot says it's not smoke, I immediately believe it's smoke. Yeah, no, there's something to that. Calling all squirrels. There was an event at Cult Water next weekend. Please come and show your support. Thank you, the Cult Water crew. Did everybody see that? Here, let's put that up here. How's that? Put that up there for a little bit. We'll leave that up there because show up in droves and make them miserable. Con Air probably would be your worst nightmare. Honestly, it would. It's not a 747. They had one. It's right now they're flying 737s, not the wide body ones, the normal ones. So you're jammed in, right? It's a not a big plane, and you're jammed in there tight, and you're shackled, right? So your hands are locked in front of you like this in a box, so you can't move them. And there's a chain that goes around that keeps your hands like that at your waist, and then you've got chains that go, you know, from one foot to the other. It's absolutely horrific. It really is. It's horrific. And you just know, you know, the whole time you're flying, the only thing you can think is, if this thing goes down, none of these people are helping us get off this plane. They are going to get out of here and run. They are not coming back to help anybody here. Chicken Cherry Cola, what's happening? Why did the watch go on vacation? Needed to unwind. Well, there you go. Little watch joke. Good enough watch jokes these days. Yeah, you know what? I did Con Air a bunch too. Sadly, I did a lot of time. So all of the time I did was in the feds. So every time I got moved to another prison, you don't go on a bus or a van. You know, you go on an airplane. Leslie Girl says, I love that you're there. That's it. It's computer wizardry. What this is. It's really a good green screen. In fact, it was so good that if you were here earlier, Reese Quibble actually showed up on the green screen, which is pretty impressive if you think about it. 737s are probably the most common flown commercial aircraft in the world. I will not argue that point, Rexkin Messler. Absolutely, it is the workhorse of the Boeing fleet, to be sure. But you know what? If it's a lot more fun if you're in a larger plane. Yeah, the 737s, especially there's the, what do they call it? The 737-300 or something. The one that they made the center row of seats wider. These are the old school ones, and you're just jammed in like sardines. No, I just finished watching the replay. No green screen. Clutching my pearls. I love it. That's the spirit. Rather be on a 787, says Shannon Smith. I thought if you're going to transport convicts, how about a Lockheed 1011? The L1011 would be perfect. You got like 7 seats or 5 seats in the middle, and then you've got the 2 on the sides. Like you could put a bunch of people on there, and they're not like this. Convicts who have all done time tend to work out, right? A lot. So these are not guys who are not wide. These are guys who are incredibly wide, right? So it's not a good thing. It really isn't. You know something, Venus Sativa? I had until it was really funny. I got on an airplane. I left federal prison. It was the 17th day of October, and it was after the pandemic and everything. And I got brought to the airport. And as I was going through security, it occurred to me that I could not remember. I could not remember getting on an airplane without it. Do not have a memory of ever getting on an airplane without one. Rexican Messler. Yeah, I thought they were really great planes. I always loved flying on L1011s. Morton Thistle, good to see you. What's happening? Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear this. That's awful. Been away. We live on the outside of Huntsville, Texas. A flooded home, 3 feet, twice. Not in prison. We had to lay down Sweet Boy Joe, our last kitty that would have been, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That is so hard. God, that's awful. I'm really, really sorry. That is awful. Yeah, you know what? I need a little leg space when I travel too. Be careful though, because if you go for that row because you just think you're getting extra leg space, when the time comes, they're gonna have a bunch of crap for you to do. Well, thank you, Warden. You'll be seeing more of it. I promise. I'm feeling better. So, and this is mental health awareness month. Why that did not want to come out. Mental Health Awareness Month, all month long. This is our Super Bowl here on the Lifeboat, right? Mental health awareness is a really big freaking deal to those of us here on the boat because we're all mentally ill. Well, I am anyway. I don't know about all of you, but certainly all of us who sit behind the microphone, we're all mentally ill. Yes, I've had some very, very intrusive searches at airports. We have a running joke in my family that my middle name is actually random because they're supposed to be random tests. They say they're random tests, but boy, oh boy, do I seem to come up a lot in that random test. Carolina, Canada. Well, good to see you. Welcome to, you know what? I'm loving Kansas City. So far, so good. Really having a good time. Yeah, I believe that. They're like they're family. Yes. So much fun flying over the mountains in a 6-seater. The seat belt checks are like a roller coaster, up, down. Yeah. Turbulence is always a lot of fun. Mary, well, thank you for stopping in to say hey. Have a great night's sleep. Thank you. Yeah, see, she gets it. She gets it. Kristen Melinda says, oh, I am admittedly straight up mentally ill in about 6 different ways, but it's what makes life fun, right? Yeah, no question. Yeah, there are profiling searches, and I'll be really honest. Look, I'm on the no-fly list. I mean, I know what's up with it. I'm on the it's called the do not fly list. You can fly, but it's called do not fly list, and I am on it. So it basically says that I am, for all intents and purposes, I'm considered that T word that you never say on a show like this, or you're just going to get demonetized. But you know the word I'm talking about. Once you robbed banks, because there are so many people that there are people that fund bad criminal enterprises by robbing banks, so they consider it a T activity. Judy Lee says, I hate that airport. The last time we were there, the Skyway broke right before we got on it. Won't go there again if I can help it. I hate it. It's not my least favorite airport. That's LAX, but I do hate it. Oh, I thank you, Tampa Bay. I do everything. No one is normal. Certainly not me. Thank you, Kristen Melinda. I am definitely not normal. Yeah, it's so hard that when natural disasters take Reese's home is lovely. They have a beautiful house. They really do have a beautiful, beautiful house. Yeah, I know that airport searches sometimes get a bit of a bummer, somewhat intrusive, and I've heard people say, "Oh man, I wouldn't put up with if you've ever been incarcerated." O'Hare's no fun either. O'Hare's no fun. I got O'Hare down to a science. I just spent so much time going in and out of that one. Yeah, see, Krista Melinda gets it. LAX could be relegated to the junk heap of history, and I would not be mad about it. I'll be really honest, it is the junk heap of history. Normal is boring, Miss Sunrise Dawn. If you're not weird, you're not doing something right, says Blessed Crochet. Mary, good to see you. Like the new backdrop? Good, good. I am going to enjoy hanging out here and creating content. We are going to have a lot of fun this week. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff here on the boat. As I said, it's Mental Health Awareness Week. Pat Grammy, I'm in a wheelchair and I get searched every time. Well, I mean, you're in a wheelchair and you're a granny. I mean, obviously, there's a great reason to search you. Heading to Italy. Oh, have fun. Yeah. It's yeah, yesterday, airlines were not the only thing that screwed me up by way of full disclosure. So I was getting ready to travel. I was gonna go a little earlier, honestly, but I had to wait for a prescription. So I got the prescription called in days before it was time to leave. I knew we were doing this for a while, so I had to wait until yesterday to get my prescription, and we were going to leave. I booked the flight hours, right? Give me plenty of time to go get there. I go to the pharmacy the night before, and I said, "Listen, I know that you're not supposed to write. I mean, you're not supposed to give me the prescription until tomorrow, and the reason is, you're afraid that I've already abused what I had and it's gone." And I said, "So I can show you 10. I've got 10 of them. I don't need one, but I'm traveling. I can also show you my itinerary. So is there any chance you could give me the box tonight?" And he said, "No, I can't do that." I said, "All right. I'm not mad at you. I kind of figured you were going to say that. Cat Stewart, good to see you." I said, "I'm not mad at you. I understand. But I had to ask, can you at least get it ready so I can come here tomorrow because I'm flying tomorrow?" He says, "Yeah, no problem. Be here at 9. It is a controlled substance. It is. It's buprenorphine. It's Suboxone. So it's a controlled substance. So I go back the following day. I'm waiting when the young lady shows up to open the pharmacy, right on time, by the way. But she comes out, she opens it. "Hey, Mark, good to see you." And she goes inside. She's like, "What's the name?" I hand her the ID. And I said, "It's buprenorphine." And she goes, "I don't see it." I said, "He didn't make it. He told me he was going to have it waiting for me because I have a flight." She's like, "No, I don't even see it in stock." I said, "You have got to be yitting me." I said, "Man, I called this thing in days ago. I told everybody here what was going on. I'm like, you guys took what I had and gave it to somebody else, right? I set this up so this wouldn't happen." So I got them to call a pharmacy of the same company, right? So, it's Fred's Pharmacy. Okay, well, I went to a different Fred's Pharmacy. They said, yes, they have it there. I drive across the city, right? I mean, the worst. And I'm catching every light and I'm watching the clock just get later and later and later and later. I'm like, son of a. I get over there and they said to me, "Oh, we can't do that." I said, "I'm sorry, what?" He said, "We can't give you that stuff because it was called into that location. You can only pick it up there." I said, "Yeah, I got that." They don't have it, right? And since it's the same company, um, it is a miracle drug that keeps you off stuff that can kill you. Make no mistake, it is. Make no mistake, it is. I can't tell you the number of lives I've seen saved by that drug. But I can tell you that about 160 of them we paid for personally here at the Lifeboat. So I can at least say 160 of them I've seen amazing things happen with. But so they said to me, "Well, if you get a letter from the manager," I said, "The manager is who was on the phone with you before I came over here. but you can't call the pharmacy. If you call, you get some company in another country. You literally can't just go to the, like, you cannot make a phone call. So I drove back over there and I got the papers and then I came back over, right? I went through the entire process. But by the time I got my stuff and drove back home to get my luggage and get everything ready, now I'm late. Now it's not even like I'm not even getting there early anymore. And I had given myself hours, right? And I'm sprinting out the door to yeah, it was just a freaking nightmare is what it was. It was a nightmare. And then, then the second thing happened with, I don't know if they got hacked. I don't know what happened, but everybody's gate was wrong. Everybody. The plane that I got on, every single person on that plane was screwed. Like the entire board was messed up. So we all went, and we were late anyway, and we all went to different places. It was bad. You should be able to get vacation overrides. I've done it with other pharmacies and with other doctors, but it wasn't happening this time. You know what? One bad employee is all it takes always. It's a really sad thing, but it's a fact, right? I have walked off on companies and gone completely bat crap crazy because of one employee, and I will never go anywhere near those companies again, no matter what. And I know it's not their fault, but the fact that they had that idiot working there is enough. Never going back. Sorry. Yeah, Clonopin, clonazepam's no joke, Avena Sativa. That's, they of all the benzos, you're going to catch more crap for Clonopin than you're going to catch for any of the other ones, to be sure. Jordy T says, I just wish I could sleep on commercial flights. I don't trust when people I don't know are in control of my safety. I get you. Doesn't matter how long the flight, I can't sleep on it. Yeah, that's tough. That really is. You don't want one of those really long ones. You know what, Sophia? I said yesterday to old Quibble, I said, are you familiar with Murphy's Law? Because Murphy is running this day. It was, just awful. Really, really awful. Yeah, Kestrel, it sucks. I mean, it really does. The problem is, look, let's be really honest. There's a bunch of us who are on medication, and it's just a reality of life that sometimes. But while I'm dealing with that, while I was dealing with all of that and going through and thinking, this sucks worse than anything, I thought to myself, I have spent 4 or 5 years, no lie, of elapsed time in my life sitting in parking lots waiting for somebody to drop off heroin. I mean, I was on it for 30 years. I probably spent 5 or 10 years, maybe more. All you're doing all day long. If you're not getting the stuff, you're sitting in a parking lot waiting on the stuff, right? I would get up and start stealing really, really early. The crime started really, really early. I mean, pre-bank robbery. Bank robbery changed all of it. That's why you use small neighborhood pharmacies. The big chains drive me crazy. Okay, well, technically, this was Bash's. Like, it's not a huge chain, but in this state, there are multiple. And I love Bash's. There's a reason I picked that. So they're such a great place. For real. It's just they're a great place, but great Monty Python reference. I love a good Monty Python reference. Yeah, good perspective. The parking lot sucks more. The back seat of a random van sucks more. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And that's really what it comes down to. I got to go in and deal with that. And, the pharmacy I go to, they're great. But I've dealt with pharmacists who look at you like, oh, what's up, junkie? I mean, it's part of it. There are jackasses that are always going to try to be a little bit, that use their position to be dickheads. Mark, if you don't mind me using you as a I don't know, a point of reference. Mark says, I never did heroin, just OxyContin and Percocet. Now, are you ready? They're all exactly the same thing. I'm sorry, they really are. So Percocet is oxycodone. If you take oxycodone and you add the Sackler family's time released, right? system, which was called the Contin system. It was originally developed on morphine, right, for people in hospice. Morphine Contin was great. Everybody loved it. Not a problem, great. But they wanted to jump the curb. They wanted a medicine they could give to everybody, not just people dying. So they took Percocet and Percodan, right, which is oxycodone, and they turned it into OxyContin, right? And all it is OxyContin is a time-released Percocet, and all of them is just a variation on the morphine molecule, right? They're all exactly the same. Some people smoke it, some people eat it, some people put it in veins, but you know what? They're all just different levels of smack. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. They're all just different levels of smack. Vicodin is about the lowest. Vicodin, Loratab, Norco, all of those that are just random hydrocodone products. That's the bottom of the food chain. And then as you get higher and higher and higher, you get up to the OxyContins and things like that. And then you get to the hydromorphone. When you start getting into the synthetics that did not require a poppy, then they can make them really strong. Mark says, I like to snort it. I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised. Then that would explain, the perks too, because OxyContin got real hard to snort, right? So you had to go to the perk 30s. Codeine is slightly different, Shannon Smith, in that codeine is not, it is a completely different type of painkiller. It's very, very unique. And not worth a fart to people that really have a problem. Like I could, like the Tylenol 3 with codeine, you know what I'm talking about? You can buy those in Canada. Well, you could. I don't know. I haven't been in Canada in 20 years, but when I was working in Canada, you could buy those over the counter. I hate it too, Kestrel. But I remember being really, really sick and somebody saying to me, "Oh, dude, you could just go buy codeine." I said, "I don't want codeine, bro." And he's like, "Well, you will at least, it'll make you not sick." No, it won't. I'm not joking you. I probably ate 260 of them in 2 days. I'm not kidding. It was really, really bad. Reggae Bubble says, I've always thrown up any opiates. Anytime I've taken any, threw up when I smoked opium, thinking it was pot. Ew, sorry, that's a bummer. Codeine isn't as good as perks. No, it is not. Codeine doesn't really go bang. Passenger Shaming says, my drug of choice is ibuprofen. Good. Yeah, you're probably not gonna get too strung out on that. Although it's pretty bad for your liver, so I wouldn't. Don't go too heavy on it. Christian B, good to see you. I'm Crazy Brumfield. Seen you in a long time. How are you? We live in a big town in our county, 4,000 people. We have one inept pharmacist in town who sends auto text to my husband for his scripts. Wow. It also helps. He's the police. Oh, great. Real small town. Your cop is also your pharmacist. Okay. Wow. Lisa says, my mom's doctor totally overprescribed her meds for the kickback money. She passed away 3 years ago. She would still be here if not for the Sackler family. Do you know how many people can say that? I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but do you know how many people can say that they would be here today if it wasn't for the Sackler family? How about 990,000 people that we know of? Huh? And in the process of doing this to all of us, they generated in profit $13 billion. Now, instead of taking all of that, because they killed almost 1 million people, we're going to let them keep $6 billion. Yeah. That makes you feel good, then there's something wrong, right? Hey, Kenneth, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He says, my effing pharmacy insurance will only cover OxyContin, oxycodone, morphine, or morphine salts. Nice. Morphine sulfate and all those. Yeah. Not any of the safer pain meds on the market. Well, that's just great. I mean, that's absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Yeah. Opium. Yeah. Opium to me was just like all painkillers, except there's a mind component that you don't get when you do heroin and the other ones. There was something very almost like a psychedelic almost, or something they really get your mind going. Codeine ibuprofen mix is available in the UK. Really? Best thing I've ever had for cramps. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Starts with a P. Starts with a P. I can't think of the name of it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. That's probably a good thing. Passenger Shaming says, I feel lucky to not have any addiction. Yeah, I would too if I were you. Yes, on my ibuprofen, you're right. I take as little as possible. Makes me nervous. Yeah, look, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories are great if you don't take too many of them. You know, they're a great drug for what they're supposed to do. But people start doing a lot. You know, people start doing a lot of them. And no, I'm just busting your chops, Crazy Brumfield. I'm on at very odd times. I'm just kidding you. I'm very rarely here anymore. I've been saying that to everybody. Long time no see. I'm never around. My kid does most of the work. Well, that's fantastic. It really is fantastic. You know what's amazing is that I am not a candidate for that lawsuit. I can't tell you how many people I talked to. And if it wasn't for the Sackler family, I wouldn't have gone to prison. And they don't want to take me on the lawsuit because I've been to prison, which is really odd if you think about it. And I've not been to prison for a drug crime. That's not what I was in there for. I was in there for stealing. That's what I was in there for. Stealing so that I could do my dope. I was so afraid to use drugs after reading Go Ask Alice in the 7th grade. Do you know something? I read that book. I wish it had the same effect on me. Yes, I just make occasional guest appearance these days. Although this month I will be making a guest appearance virtually every day. Yeah, the Sacklers and their unbelievable false advertising based on a study that they knew wasn't a study. They claim they didn't, but the absolutely 100% knew. And that is why in the minutes of that meeting, when they said to Arthur's kid, whatever his name is, when they said to him, it's not 3% that are getting addicted to this. It's way higher than that, man. It's like just under the 20s. It's a high 17 or something. And he said, really? I thought it would be a lot higher than that. So nothing ever made this dude like he knew what was up. They were low lives. You know what? You know what's crazy? See, this is a great testament. This is a learning lesson right here. I hope everybody gets this. The Passenger Shaming said, Trainspotting made me never want to try any drug. Well, and that's legit. A lot of people have seen that movie who will say the exact same thing. Do you know what that movie does to me? For real? That makes me want to do heroin. That movie is the biggest trigger in the world. If I watch that movie from start to finish, there's a real good chance I'm going to relapse. I don't think I could ever watch it again, but that is a unbelievable trigger for me. You would think it wouldn't be, right? But oh, it is. You know what, Mark? For their heredity plays a huge, huge role. It does. Yeah, reggae bubbles, no question. No question. Food and Drug Administration let that fly. He says it's Congress's fault. I knew it was a lie at the age of 20 and I didn't even conduct any studies. Yeah, you know what? Didn't take much, right? Well, here's the thing. Anybody says to you, I found a painkiller, it's an opiate, and no one's going to get addicted to it, they're lying to you. If it tickles the MU receptor, you're screwed. That's it. It absolutely can get you, you know? It's that simple. No. You can bring it up. No. I can talk about it till the end of time. I just can't see the visual image of it. It's the visual, it's the imagery in that film. It's all of the needles breaking the skin. It's all the time they spend drawing it up. It's the visual. Very little triggers me other than visual stuff. For me, the only exception to that would be certain songs, so audio, right? The audio and the visual for me is a real thing. But no, I can talk about it. In fact, I really dig the guy that wrote it. He wrote other things. That's not the only book he wrote. There's one called Marabou Stork, which is one of the most unbelievable, disturbing books I've ever read. Good one, but disturbing. See that, Kristen Melinda? I read it too. Did you read Marabou Stork, Kristen Melinda? I love that. When I bring stuff up, there are always people here that have read as much or more than I have, and that's just great. See, I can't watch Pulp Fiction, says Portland SP. Yeah, I get that. And I've said I can watch Pulp Fiction. I just can't watch that scene. That's the scene I can't watch. I cannot watch the scene where they bang dope. All of that. That's a little too much for me. But question: wait, addiction can be hereditary? My ex was a crack addict. I need to worry about my daughter. How do I go about that? Can it be any substance? Yes. So the fact that your husband was addicted to crack probably means that the addictive gene is there. That does not mean that your daughter's only thing to worry about is crack. Uh, it's actually quite the opposite. Usually, it's the addictive gene is there. And then we find ourselves feeling uncomfortable in our own skin, feeling like we don't fit in, feeling like mom didn't love us or dad, loved your sister more than you or whatever. The stuff that's getting in your head, messing with you, you're going to find something that makes you comfortable in your own skin and makes those automatic negative thoughts, right? ANTS. That's the acronym, automatic negative thought. You're going to find a drug that puts those ants to sleep, right? You say, I don't do drugs. Oh, you got ants though, don't you? Everybody's got ants. It's just that drug addicts have loud ants that throw punches and shit, but we all have ants. Automatic negative thoughts get everybody. Yeah, Avena Sativa. I don't know that I will ever be able to witness that and not really have a problem. I love you, Tommy. I'm coming to KC June 21st. That could be a tall order there, Riley's human. I wasn't planning on running off on Quibble without giving her a little assistance. I think you might be pushing it there on the 21st of June. Just saying. Kristen B says, I got movies I can't watch. I get it. Most of us do. You know, there's a lot of truth to this. The war on drugs and the outlawing of cannabis, scheduling of LSD and shrooms and psilocybin were all aggressive actions against the boomer generation because we opposed the Vietnam War. Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially with LSD, shrooms, and some of the other stuff. The cannabis really goes back to they screwed us over on cannabis because it was competing with a new patent for a material called polyester. Hemp was the only thing that threatened polyester, right? And they used to use hemp to make tires. They used to use it to make everything because it's a very heavy textile, and you can do amazing things with it. But once they came up with the invention, the patent for those horrific chemicals that they make, that generate all kinds of trash for the planet and everything else. But polyester was why they decided to use the Narcotic Act of 1930 to make cannabis illegal. Although cannabis, by its definition, right, does not click all of the boxes or any of the boxes really to make it a narcotic. It's not habit forming. You can't overdose on it. Right? It's not life threatening in overdose quantities. So I don't know how, but that's what they use to get away with it, sadly. But they sure got pretty rowdy about LSD. I also read that, Paisley Turtle. My sister never found a drug she wanted addicted to. Started with alcohol and ended. That darn gene. Go ask Alice is motivational, but it is based on lies which destroyed a family. Read Unmask Alice, LSD, Satanic Panic, and the Imposter Behind the World's Most Notorious Diaries by Rick Emerson. Yeah, there's also there's a couple of documentaries that came out about the same term has become Satanic Panic, but that same, it was just a lot of people that got really out of control and started manipulating kids to come up with a lot of BS, and it's pretty terrifying stuff. Yes, they used to make sails for boats out of hemp. They absolutely did. It can skip generations, Shannon Smith. I don't have my sisters have no problems, right? My sisters are not addicted to anything. Just didn't get them. And Johnny is my brother is a drug addict, but different, you know, different. He really did an awful lot of, yeah. His ability to walk away from stuff was a lot different than mine. I just I could not do anything. It had my number. Absolutely viciously had my number, you know. Yeah, Geoplanet Jane is right too. The drug laws in this country were horrifically racist for a very long time, and they've done a lot to try to undo some of the problems, but it's you're looking at 3 and 4 generations of people that that have been addicted, and it's a terrifying thing. Tommy, how have you been? Any exciting, fun news? I've not been here for a couple of weeks. Well, let's see. You may have noticed I changed my backdrop. Um, I am on the road currently. I'm in Kansas City in the basement of Reese Quibble. No, I really am. I know that you guys have been joking for a long time about Reese having me in her basement. I really am in Reese's basement. That is not a backdrop. It is really here. If you look at New Age guru Teal Swan, she is convincing people they were victims of, yeah, SRA, which if I say out loud, but the R is ritual, right? The S is, right, not God, but the other. And her therapist and hypnotherapist were the ones that started the Satanic Panic back in the 80s. That's horrific. And this person is back in business, huh? Yes, passenger shaming. I really am in Reese's basement. I flew in yesterday, um, and yeah, I'm. Teal Swan is a fascinating deep dive, says Kristen Melinda. Not a bad call. Not a bad call for the cults and crims. Um, Tommy starring live in People Under the Stairs. That's right. I am. This is going to be the couch surfing tour. I see no reason to pay a mortgage. I'm just going to start hitting all of your houses and filming in your basements. All right, tired of all this mortgage stuff. You probably want to catch the next couple of lives with us, passenger shaming. If you go over to the related boat, the unveiling of me being here was pretty funny. It really was. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I because I know that I promise you, just live in basements. There you go, live in basements. So if you don't have a basement, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to skip your town. So certain parts of the country is gonna be real tough to go to. You don't see a lot of basements in New Orleans. The Positive Life says, Tommy, is chrome a real drug? It's impossible to answer questions like that, and I'll tell you why. Here's the answer to that. Absolutely, it is. Now, is it what everybody says it is? Probably not. Probably not. But what ends up happening is you get a lot of people that start to crank out drugs and they give them cool names. There was a period of time um, before I got busted the last time and went to prison. So it was it would have been about 2013 or something like that. There was a period of time where in the town that I lived in, they were selling a drug they called sex. And after getting incarcerated and going to prison, I found that there were so many people talking about the exact same drug, but they were calling it something different every single place that it went, right? Um, Tommy, you are welcome in the guest bedroom anytime you are in Florida. No basements here, though. All right, Spaceys, I might take you up on that. I do get down to Florida a lot. I've got friends there. In fact, some of my only friends happen to live there. All right, people, tell you what, I am keeping this puppy to 1 hour. I really am, or shortly thereafter, right? But tomorrow night, I'm going to be back at the same bat time, right? On the same bat channel. So I assume you guys are going to come back and see me, right? Because I'll tell you everything that happened with Quibble. No, I'm kidding. But it is fun to get those rumors rolling. You know what I'm saying? May I ask, how long have you been released from prison? Sure, you can. I left prison on the 17th day of October 2020. That was when I walked out. So what is that? 4 years? Been out about 4 years. Garages work. If you don't have a basement, you could probably talk me into doing the garage thing. Leslie girl, it was good to see you too. And Tampa B says, I'll be back. I hope so. Tampa B, I'd be absolutely shocked if you aren't. Right? Hey, Noise Opera, there you are. Good to see you, Nick. Hope you're doing well. What is kratom? Says Caddy. All right, so let's talk about this quick before we go. Kratom comes from a root that is first meal when I left. Jack, if you guys know Jack, just real quickly, Jack has been on the boat a lot. He's my only friend that didn't overdose and die. For real. It's the two of us. Everybody else is gone. And his wife cooked me a huge, unbelievable Italian meal. He picked me up, took me directly to his house. He had the entire thing laid out. He was just supposed to bring me to the airport, but he brought me by his place for this big Italian spread, and then he brought me to the airport. And it was beautiful. It really was. Don Gloves, see you tomorrow. Don, I've been deep diving what you sent me. I'm horrified, and I'm going to be doing a show about it. I promise you. Horrified. I didn't know. I didn't. When you brought it up the first time, and everyone will see this, so I'm not. It has to do with prison and some stuff going on, but I will share it with all of you, I promise. But how long am I going to be in the basement? Well, I don't know. That's the question, isn't it? You're going to have to keep coming back to see if I disappear. Because I don't know. There's no telling. I might just stick around. I kind of like it. What do you think of that? Clutch some pearls. Jason P, good to see you. Friends like that are precious. I think there's something to that. There really is. There's something to that. John Allen celebrating 8 months clean today. I'm sorry. Look at this. Whoa. How are you? This is the official participation trophy of the Quibble household. And that's a very big deal. John Allen, 8 months is an amount of time. Really, really fantastic. If I disappear, you don't have to call 911, but you should probably have somebody search Quibble's place. You know what I mean? Hey, my pearls, you're on. Yeah, there you go. See, Krista Melinda gets it. All right, people. I will see all of you mañana, which I'm pretty sure means tomorrow. I need a basement green screen for home. Yeah, now that is a trophy, right? This is a very, very big trophy. Although, you know what they say, people? It's not the size of your trophy. Yeah, it kind of is the size of your trophy, but let's keep it real, right? I mean, yeah, you got to be able to use it, but you still want a good trophy. All right, people. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.